Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending this event. As Pak Sugeng also already mentioned earlier, that Indonesia is currently facing a challenge of energy transition, not only on the technical side, but also on the financing side, because based on the latest draft of the accelerated renewable energy development in Indonesia, until 2040, we estimate that we are going to develop approximately 102 gigawatts of additional generation capacity with a capex of approximately 235 billion US dollars. So one of the key questions that we need to answer is how are we going to finance the energy transition while maintaining the trilemma of energy, the sustainability, the affordability, and the reliability. Today we have lots of prominent speakers here from the financiers that we're going to talk about how are we going to proceed and what are the instruments in the market, how are we able to access creative financing to ensure that PLN and the government of Indonesia will be able to access more low-cost financing to accelerate the renewable energy development in Indonesia. So please allow me to invite to the stage. First one is Bu Cynthia Rusli from PLN. And then Mr. Junaid Kamal Ahmad from the MIGA, Mr. Vomik Nurshah from the UK Export Finance, Mr. Jorge Ordonez from the Citigroup, and Mr. Stefan Wintels from KfW. Please come to the stage. Thank you. Okay, please have a seat. So thank you very much for joining the sessions. Unfortunately, we have limited time here, but in today's session, we are going to go for a deeper dive on financing the transition, how to affirm global commitment for Indonesia's energy transition. So first of all, allow me to invite Bu Cynthia Rusli. She is in the heart of the financing of the energy transition. I believe that Bu Cynthia will face many challenges on how to get the financing for all the energy transition without jeopardizing the PLN's financial sustainability. So Bu Cynthia, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Maya. So, good morning, everyone. Excellencies, Pak Sugeng and Pak Edi Suparno, and also Pak Satya and Pak Hermandano. So, everyone, I think we need to set a bit of context in PLN financing first. I think we have a very prominent supporters and lenders for PLN for quite some time, so we really appreciate that. Just now, we have signed a few MOUs. Thanks for UK Export Finance and also KfW, very big supporter to PLN. Today, we have signed the MOU of around 1.2 billion at least potential financing for Sulawesi corridor for transmission system and also hydro pump storage in Sumatra and Java. And that's a very tremendous and it's very key for Indonesia energy transitions because pump storage is a very, very key for accepting the intermittency of the variability of the renewable energy. So that's probably the context of today. But I think I need to, for those of you who have not been familiar with PLN, PLN is a very solely provider of electricity in Indonesia. It's 100% owned by the country, by the state. And we have recently last year, our revenue of around 32 billion US dollars, and we serve around 91 million customers as of now. So that's probably the picture of Indonesia. And in terms of financing, as Bu Maya has just mentioned, that for the next probably almost 20 years down the road, for up to 2040, we have around additional capacity of 100 gigawatts, and the amount of investment needed is around 235 million US dollars. But if we cut that for the next 10 years, we need around 110 billion US dollars. And where the funding is are needed, that goes into the generations of around 80 billion US dollars. Okay. So, then we have this transmission and distribution system as well as the smart grids for enabling the system to capture the variable renewable energy into the system for the next 10 years. So this is basically the requirements, the absolute amount that we need. Then how should we finance this? Of course, we will, exhaust all means, in terms of public financing as well as private financing. And from the public financing, we have this these bilateral institutions like KfW, AFD, and JICA, everyone in the whole, who has been supporting PLN for quite some times. And also the multilateral institutions like World Bank, ADB, AIIB. So we have exhausted them to help us in terms of how we should finance this. And for this, I think we also, not to mention MIGA as well, that has already extended a certain green-backed financing, coming from the commercial banks, global commercial banks, and MIGA provided the guarantee for non-honoring of sovereign obligations. So that has been already expedited and has basically already been disbursed. So we basically have done this for quite some times. And I think for PLN, apart from maximizing the support from the concessional financiers, but also we have to absorb the demand and maximize the financing from the commercial sides, the private sides, whether in the form of PLN projects in terms of EPC, but also in terms of IPP or public-private partnership. So basically, the financing needs are quite huge, and what we may need to hear from all the prominent speakers today is basically what are the concerns. PLN has already understood for sometimes that the more and more investors are concerned with the how energy transition in Indonesia will be proceeding, and also how the ESG issues is basically handled within the organizations. For the last 3 years, we have been doing quite a few initiatives in terms of internal, organizations' capacity as well as external, external system in terms of regulatory framework. So we have also focusing on the ESG culture in the company. We developed the new divisions of energy transition and sustainability. We develop also capability building within the organizations. We have the investment war room. We have the sustainability war room. We have a dashboard for ESG KPIs and metrics for every divisions in the whole organizations. And we have also pushed our ratings in the ESG for quite some time. So for the last 4 years, we have improved quite a lot the ESG scoring to ensure that the lenders also have confidence with what we are doing. So not only that we have already completed our planning, our plan for the infrastructure development together, with the help of JETP platform with the International Energy Agency, but also internally we are building the organizational capacity to have the right mindset of this ESG, because we understand that the investors and lenders are very concerned about this, and the credible plan to have this decarbonization journey is very, very important. So this is what we are doing. So we hope that the more and more lenders and investors and global platform, like yesterday we have launched, we have already got the support from the Global Finance, Global Blended Finance Alliance, for example, and also some other philanthropy package like GAP. And today also we signed the MOU with GAP. They are also supporting us in so many aspects, in project preparations as well as development, the capacity of PLN. And they are also coming in with various package of investment. Like, for example, we are now in the process with ADB, for example, to get a lending for about $500 million, and including the grant from the GAP as well. So more and more support are needed in terms of concessional financing, semi-commercial, commercial, as well as the grant that is supporting Indonesia to be able to expedite the energy transition. So I think that's probably the context. So we would like to hear some of the thoughts from a very prominent speaker here, and we would, be able to absorb the aspirations and what needs to be done within PLN, that I should push more to get this up and running. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bu Cynthia. So I think PLN has improved a lot on the ESP aspect to be aligned with what the investors and lenders policy in terms of the financing.